Ahoy there! See, Briney here coming at you with a Genshin Impact video. Now, we're going to be looking at tips and tricks of how to fight the Oceanid along with Rhodeia's Rage, and why I think Rhodeia's Rage is the better fight, and why miHoYo should replace the Oceanid fight with Rhodeia's Rage. Now, it's been a little while since my last upload. I have a couple things filmed that I got done during the last event, the Wishful Drops. I wanted to talk about Rhodeia's Rage and tips and tricks of how to beat it. The only problem is that event already ended. So now I have all this footage of tips and tricks of how to beat Rhodeia, and there's no real use for all of that footage. But if we let the winds blow us in a new direction, then we will honor the way of the pirate. So instead, I'm gonna compare Rhodeia's Rage with the official Rhodeia of Loach water boss fight. Now, first things first, the original boss fight was the hardest boss to beat out of any of the bosses when I was starting Genshin Impact. There are so many ways it ruins any kind of mechanic to actually beat the boss, especially with the beginner team, making only Lisa and Amber viable, and if you didn't build either of those like I did, and enjoyed more physical attackers, you get screwed over. Now, the biggest reason that you get screwed over are these flying bird types. You cannot hit them with anything unless you swing wildly as they dive bomb you, and even then you can only get maybe one good hit off. Very few of the base characters can actually hit up there, and when I was starting the game, I had the base team and Mona. Those were the only characters I had, the base team, Shongyung, and Mona. Mona can't do damage at all because she does purely water type damage. So I was getting screwed over at the start of the game because I wanted to level up Mona. Mona I just got, and I was like, holy cow, I love this account. I love Mona. First 5-star was like within the first 20 wishes of me starting the game, and I was ecstatic. Like, Mona, I had a Mona. That was a 5-star. That was nuts. My brother was like, rest in peace, you didn't get a Venti, but I was like, but look at that astrologer right there. And so I had to fight it a lot so that I could level up Mona, along with scaling the sides of buildings for weird looking mushrooms. But that's besides the point. It was tough. All you could really use is Lisa to really hit up there. And I didn't build Lisa or Amber because I, quite frankly, didn't enjoy the character's gameplay. So this is what the new one does so much better than the old one. And I think we should petition to have the new Rhodeia's Rage as the permanent Oceanid boss fight rather than the current one that we have. So, the first thing that is better, you actually fight the Oceanid. Now, in the original fight, you have to just fight the Oceanid's lackeys over and over and over again. And it's basically this randomizer of when you're going to get screwed, because whenever the flying ones come, then, you know, everything gets a lot harder. Bow characters, if they dive bomb the bow characters, they're dead in like 1 or 2 hits. And quite frankly, there's 3 of them, so they can get 1 and 2 hits in a second. The nice thing about the other one is that pretty much every single enemy is a grounded enemy. You can fight them on the ground. Also, you can shoot the Oceanid at any time, so if you can actually ignore all of the little minions at the bottom and just take pop shots at the Oceanid. The other thing, the old boss, at first, I thought it was totally random which enemies explode afterwards. They just randomly get a bubble and explode, and they deal like 1/4 of your health every single time they pop. You pretty much need to have a healer on your team when you're fighting Rhodeia, and one of the big problems is you only have Barbara. Barbara can't do damage, so if Barbara's healing you, which you can still get Barbara to heal the entire team by pressing E and using autos on the enemies, but you won't be able to do any damage in that time. The other one instead of just a random bubble, it has this super telegraph move where it sends this huge bubble. And you can go and get on one of the geysers and go up in the air to get over it. You could use Kaching's E to teleport above the wave, or Zhao's jump. You can even dive down in the water like the normal bubbles to dodge this attack. These bubbles, the other one, they happen way too often. There's a certain amount of enemies. You know, the big fat chicken thing, the cock, that just like booty smashes on the ground, creating shockwaves. That thing explodes. The frogs explode. You basically have to know which ones explode. In the other one, you didn't have this problem. It was certain stages. You'd fight Rhodeia until she had a quarter health. Then she would fly up and summon all of her minions. If you took out all of her minions, she would come back down. There's the targeted beam attack, which you can either get on the geyser and shoot arrows at Rhodeia, still doing damage, or you can run around by Rhodeia's feet. By the way, Fischl is great in both of these fights. You can leave the bird behind and the bird can still attack while you run away from the geyser, or you can put the bird down, you can run onto the geyser and then shoot safely. When you know the fight, when it has stages, all the other fights have certain stages. Like, you almost know what's gonna happen. But then the other problem is, if you can't do damage to the actual boss, and there's a timer of how long the boss floats around and drops stages down into the water, there's no way to beat it quickly. I literally have here me beating every single boss in like 1 or 2 stages so much quicker with my best team than I could beat the water boss. Even if you have an amazing team and that you get really good at the mechanics of this fight, there is no way to speed it up past a certain point because you have to wait for it to make its stupid passes to drop the platforms into the water. It's an interesting idea, but it stops being fun after the first 2 times you fight. The only thing that it really does is it gives you more spots to kind of dive down and avoid the bubbles when they burst. Because if you didn't know, if you time it right, when the bubbles burst, you can dive underneath them. But then there's the other thing that absolutely ruins the original fight for newer players. It's the fact that you can't even be innovative in that fight. You can't put down geostructures. I thought I was really smart. After I got the geo element for the Traveler, I was like, oh my goodness, now those birds that I had trouble with because I didn't really level up any ranged fighters because I wasn't a big fan of how the bow characters fight, and I wasn't a big fan of how Lisa fought. And so I was like, oh, I can just put down a platform and climb on top of it. No, it doesn't let geo platforms spawn on the ground. You can't even use your head to think of a way or plan ahead to beat this thing. You have to literally have a ranged character on your team that isn't Barbara because she can't do damage. Like, you just have to have a ranged character on your team because no one can hit up there. It is so dumb. So you're forcing people to build characters that they might not really want to build just to beat this one boss. Like, what if they want to level up their Jin Q? All of a sudden, they have to build a new teams just so that they could build their Jin Q because their team can't really take on this boss. Now, I ended up taking on this boss with like lower level stuff. Any ice type is very nice because they can freeze the characters, but still, Kaya, he cannot hit them up there. And he's the starter character. Only Rosaria's E hits up there, and Xiong, when you have Xiong at a certain level, then his sword falls down from the sky and that can hit them. And so you're locked into, oh, should I build Lisa or do I have Fischl? Like, you're forced to have these characters that if you didn't participate in the Meteor event, then you didn't get your free official Fischl, and you were just kind of screwed for this fight. Like, honestly, this fight was so difficult. The first range character that I got was Diona, Because Amber sucks at this too. Her Baron Bunny doesn't even hit those things up there, and she's just a bad character. Like, her E is so hard to hit. Her aim shot isn't even good until you have a couple constellations on her. She's a bad character. So if you didn't want to build Amber and you weren't a fan of Lisa, then you don't really have a way of fighting these things. And that's so dumb. In the other one, you just wait for your turn. You don't have to shoot Rhodeia when Rhodeia's shooting the geyser. You don't have to bring birds out of the sky because there are none. You literally just wait until Rhodeia's within melee range and you can go ham. Altogether, we have this one that has beautiful animations where it's very straightforward. You get on the geysers to avoid damage, or you could avoid the damage other ways. You can jump off those geysers to start attacking Rhodeia early and get faster times. You can actually get faster times because you're actually doing damage to the unit. You're not waiting for it to do animations and then summon new minions so that you can wait another 10 minutes of random minion fighting just so that after 4 rounds it drops down dead. The original water boss fight, it is not well thought through. It has clunky, terrible mechanics that are not obvious to almost anyone. That bubble burst, who is supposed to know what explodes? And then the fact that you either have to run from one side of the field to the other to avoid the damage, or dive underwater to avoid the damage, is absolutely ridiculous. No one should know that when they're starting the game. This is a mechanically complicated boss that you almost have to farm if you want to level up your healer or any water character whatsoever. Like how are people just supposed to level up Barbara? It takes forever to fight. It takes forever to farm. It is a bad fight. It is just a bad fight. I say we message MiHoYo next time that there's a survey and say they gotta switch this new Rhodeia's Rage fight, which is actually good. It has good mechanics. You're not locked into specific builds to have to play it, and it's fun. Like, it's a lot of fun. I actually had a lot of fun with Rhodeia's Rage. I don't have fun fighting the old Oceanid boss. So I think that Rhodeia's Rage should become the new Oceanid, and they should just scrap that old one because it ain't working. It just ain't working. So hopefully I gave you some good insights for Rhodeia's Rage in case that event comes back, or they replace the Oceanid with that boss. So yeah, I hope this video helps out anyone in the future. Maybe we can get this change. I highly doubt it because basically like 4 of you are going to watch this video because I'm the smallest captain on YouTube. So I guess that's it for this video. I was thinking of doing a tips and tricks of how to fight every single boss in Genshin with a underleveled team. I actually did one attempt in my playthroughs here with like a level 20 Kaya, and the rest of the team was like level 60. Highest level artifact was like level 12. So I might do that for every single boss within Genshin Impact. If you mateys are interested in that, leave a comment below. Just leave which one you want to see next. Or, you know, maybe you just want more tips and tricks of how to beat the Oceanid. I'll probably be releasing then the full video of me beating it with the underleveled team. So the next video is going to be a story video of me just playing through that new bit of Genshin story. It was actually very, very good. I can't wait to get that video out. Genshin for the longest time has just been sitting still, and that was the first thing that actually progressed the story in months, like actual months. So I guess that's it for this video. If you guys are making any wishes in the Tartaglia banner for either Rosaria or Child, then I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you get all the booty ye desire. See Briney out.